Thank you. First of all, thank you all the presenters for their presentations. It has been very interesting, and I have to agree with most of you what you have said. But just as Mr. Klaas asked for intriguing, then I'll come back to intrigues a bit later. But of course, I'm very sure that most of people in this room are hoping that this crisis will be called the crisis of 2008. I'm afraid it won't be called just like that. I agree with Mr. Kallas that this will last a bit longer, and it may be called crisis of 2008 till 2010 or whatever, but most probably that won't be over with only this year. But in the same time, of course, I hope, and I'm also pretty sure, that Estonia will come out of this crisis as a winner, at least compared to many other countries who are less liberal and who do reforms slower or don't do them at all. And today, I think one of the biggest questions for Estonia is that what kind of government intervention is possible for us at all, and whether it is good or not. Short term, of course. I'm again very sure that most of the people in this room are for less government intervention and less regulation, but still some regulation is needed and some intervention is needed in these very difficult times. And as most of our banks are owned by foreign Swedish banks, and we all hope that Swedes will handle this crisis also for Estonia, so that hopefully we won't have to do anything but have to be in discussion with the Swedish Central Bank and with the Swedish government and be very friendly with them, and so they will handle it. But still, the question is what we can do and what we should do. And I can't say that that's my suggestion really, but at least suggestion for thinking that as Mr. Lundgren also mentioned, that in these kind of difficult times, it is quite likely that even those companies which should be financed with credit don't have access to credit as much as they need it. And so the question to government is that whether this is something where we can do something, because Swedish banks most probably will more think about past and how to save them. There is pressure from shareholders to have less exposure to Baltics. Of course they care about the future of their business here as well, but still something we may lose if the credit conditions are too tight. So that one thing I would suggest to think about is that how to not help these kind of companies, but how to enable them to still have affordable credits, especially for exporting companies, not for companies which are in difficulties or insolvent in mid-term future, but who have less liquidity. And another thought is that I think that now there is time to think about economy. It's very good. I have had during last couple of months more calls from people involved in politics or in different ministries that what would you advise, what we should do. But I think that's a good sign. We think more about economy in good times. We don't think about it because everything is too good anyway. And one thing again I would suggest to think about to intervene in economy is to put more emphasis on bringing in foreign companies. I think we have been quite passive here. Of course, regulation has been good, taxation system has been good, but also I think it has to be done on more higher level than Enterprise Estonia is doing it today. I think would be good to have a minister of entrepreneurship with a small office and who would go and proactively, as we investment bankers do. We in M&A deals or capital raising deals, we go directly to companies and welcome to Baltics or welcome to Estonia. I think there is more need to go proactively to pitch those companies who have future and to market more directly Estonia as an investment place.
Thank you. Let us listen to Vice President Sutt.
Thank you, and also I must agree. with what Rain said, that former presentations were good start. But I actually did like as well the video clip you showed at the beginning. I think it captures well the mood on the markets and perhaps also among many people. And I think also that this is sort of a manifest that the world has become flat and connected. But we worry here what is happening in the US or in Asia or any other part of the world. As Johnny Munkhammar showed in his presentation of a golden age, I think these benefits were clearly because of globalization. Now, to the SMS question, I think the choice of answers was not sort of complete. If you look at most of the forecasts for 2009, like Rain said, world advanced economies are expected to be in a recession in 2009, first time after the Second World War. So I think it would be naive to think that 2009 everything is over. But there is always a growth after downturn. And that, I think, is another slide what Johnny Munkhammar showed. Then when he presented the US growth starting from mid-1800s, yes. And if you translate this figure, what he did show, into the annual growth rate, then on average it would make a little bit more than 2%. So, and that is what is a world sort of global or technological barrier, what everybody else is converging to. Yes, this crisis is unique as any other crisis, but I don't think it has changed fundamental drivers for economic growth, what many people here have talked about. And if we put now it into sort of Estonian context, when there are four broad drivers. First is initial condition, and that basically is a proxy how far you are from world richest countries in terms of GDP per capita. And there we have done a great success. We are already at 70, but that 70 is actually only 70, so there is a huge gap to close, and that needs investment. And investment is actually a second important precondition to meet, and it has to be, as the world economy history has shown, at least 25% per year. Estonia has had so far more than 30, but this has to be kept up now as well. What is very important, and I think many speakers here told, is about institutions or stable macroeconomic policies, because this, I think, is what brings investment in, what actually allows entrepreneurs to deliver their ideas to operations and make economy growing. And the fourth condition is innovation, what we obviously need now much more than we had to have, getting from 30% to 70%. And I understand that there will be a session at the later part of a conference today. On just a last comment, I think what Estonia now, there was a question actually to Siim Kallas from the audience, what is advice from the experience of monetary reform of 1992. And I think in many respects, making access to the Eurozone or adopting the Euro as the most important economic policy commitment is very important for Estonia. I had a telephone conversation with someone from Deutsche Bank London a few weeks ago, and she was quite worried about what is happening in the Baltics and in Estonia. And I told her that yes, economy here is slowing very fast, but that is also good news, because the imbalances many people have been worried are closing also very fast, like current account deficit, inflation, credit growth, and we are actually with much higher chances to meet the inflation criteria for adopting the euro.